Hey, welcome back to another super special deluxe collector's edition mint fucking episode of what is this? Steve reads a comic.
9.8.
This is 10.0. Mint.
No.
Minty.
Let's not go that far. You said we were going to be done for the year. We've done like 3 podcasts.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, right? Well, this is like a special surprise for people, right? I figured Rob was on vacation. He wouldn't mind. He seems to mind a lot, but I thought he wouldn't mind. I was wrong. But there's new stuff to discuss, man. So this is going to be a Book of Boba Fett centric episode with full spoilers going forward for episode 1. That's all it's out right now. So if you haven't watched it yet, and also I thought we'd kind of do just kind of a year wrap up of some of our favorite comics, movies, shows, whatever, stuff we liked, stuff we didn't like. We all know Steve's favorite was Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah. I'll save my list for later.
So Steve is taken to calling it Matrix Erectile Dysfunction.
Matrix, you fucked my world. Not in a good way.
So how was everybody's Christmas?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve, you have a good Christmas, Steve?
I did. I had a shockingly good Christmas.
Yeah. So this is...
Your kids got 3,000 toys.
Dude, that's what I love. When my kids were little, I loved just buying them shit. And dude, I swear to God, there was stuff
that's what Christmas
like
is about.
A year later, it was like they never even opened this. Like they never even opened this box, this particular toy. I just liked watching them open shit. That was so fun for me when my kids were young. Now they just want money. They don't care. Just give me cash.
Yeah. They tear through the stuff. I was like, I don't remember me tearing through stuff that fast. Maybe, I'm sure I did, but it's like my kids are just like on to the next one. I was like, can you say thank you first? That'd be nice. They're like, what is this? Pants? Get it out of here. Where's the toys?
Right? Oh yeah. I'm still like that. Fucking socks. My kids are still like that too. Pajamas. It's funny,
dude.
Now that I'm older.
That.
Yeah.
What the hell's the matter with you? Underwear, socks, and pajamas.
I agree. Now that I'm older, I'm like, yeah, I love that shit.
Oh yeah, I love pajama. I'm wearing pajama pants pretty much all the time. So, and I'll dress up and put on a shirt like this for you guys. This is me dressing up. I got a Slayer t-shirt on for listener at home.
Do you have Boba Fett pajama pants?
No, I do have some Star Wars pajamas. I don't have any Boba Fett specific pajamas though.
Dami got a Miles Morales suit, like a pajama suit.
Cool.
He fucking loves it, man. He fucking loves it.
I love his appreciation for Spider-Man.
Yeah. Still haven't taken him to see the movie yet. We're going to do that soon.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be in theaters for another 3 years.
Well, I think it comes out on, they announced it I think February 28th. It'll be on
60 days. Yeah.
On demand. Yeah. It's a real short window nowadays. And then was it one of you guys, or maybe it was Logan? Somebody was telling me that
was me.
What about the Batman? Okay. Yeah. Rob was telling me that the Batman is going to be on like HBO Max, like 46 days after it's in theater.
46th day after releases.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy turnaround right there.
That's wicked crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, when's that come out again?
March 4th, I think.
March. Okay. Did you guys watch that new trailer? I put it on our.
No.
What'd you think?
You put it on what?
I put it on our social media page. I forgot Rob doesn't do that.
We have a social media page.
Yeah, we sure do.
You could at least go over there and, create an account just to up our numbers. That'd be nice.
What is it?
It's a Facebook page.
We got Instagram. Steve reads a comic.
You said all we had was Instagram.
No, we got Facebook and Instagram. And we have a Twitter that we don't really use, but we do have Twitter as well.
We do have a Twitter? I didn't know we had a Twitter. I post stuff on my Twitter.
Oh, maybe we don't. I thought we did. Maybe we don't.
I don't think we have an official Twitter page.
I didn't even know we had a Facebook.
We got a YouTube page too.
Facebook is probably the best for our demographic, which is like old white dudes.
Yeah.
That's
Rob-
where all the old white guys go.
To hell with a bunch of Facebook.
Right.
I made it this long. I did finally get a cell phone though, about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Nice work. Rob's been using the
boy.
telegraph.
What's
He had a
our
pager.
what's the Facebook called? Steve Reads a Comic Facebook?
I think it's just like
Steve Reads.
Reed.
It's just Steve Reads.
Yeah, I think if you just go to like facebook.com/Steve Reads, it'll take you to the page.
Instagram is Steve Reads a Comic with underscores in between each word.
So you're telling me somebody already had Steve Reads a Comic on Facebook?
No, I think I just wanted it to be short. Technically our Facebook page is, I kind of I didn't make a like a business page like you're supposed to. I made like a personal page. So the name of the page is Steve Reads, like first name Steve, last name Reads.
Oh.
So, because it's just easier, like with the business ones, like it doesn't show up in anybody's feed because they want you to pay for ads and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just made I just made a personal one.
Nice.
Steve Reads Hatfield Library. Yeah, I can't find it.
Good to know. It's just literally facebook.com/Steve Reads.
I think I made a business page for
Is it all bundled together?
Yeah, there's no spaces.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Do you have a social media account?
But you should be able to view the page. Maybe they might make him log in though.
Page. I don't care about
Facebook.
It's
I thought
not
you had
hashtag Steve Reads.
No, there's
man.
no hash.
We must be low on the. We must be very low on the clicks.
No, I'm just curious if I'm even giving the right information here.
We're sending our listeners to some other fucking site.
I saw a guy named Steve Reads that
I saw that too. I was like, get him out of here. Who the hell's that guy?
As soon as I type it in, though, it makes me log in.
I was like, that other Steve Reads is not important. Disregard that Steve Reads.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think that works. I don't know, but Rob, you don't have an account, so I don't think we'll let you see it anyway. It's all very pointless.
It's not like Reads REEDS, is it?
No, it is the correct spelling of Reads.
I'm really good at spelling 5-letter words.
Steve Reed Profiles.
What was that What was that 5-letter word game show? Remember? With Chuck Woolery.
I don't know.
It was only five letters in the word, and you had to guess the word.
No clue.
Oh, come on. Lingo. That's what it was. Lingo.
Dude, if I told Maggie about that, she'd probably look it up. And she'd remember it. 2 and 2. But yeah, so let's get into the Book of Boba Fett. So episode 1 debuted. Did you guys watch the 4-minute trailer just to kind of catch you up on Boba Fett's life before this show?
No.
Anybody?
I did. I think you posted it at the social media. Rob didn't see it.
I did post it on Facebook. So watching this, and Rob, you'll know this stuff in here because you watched the Clone Wars. There's a lot of stuff from Clone Wars in there, and maybe Rebels, but I know definitely Clone Wars, where basically they show, it starts with episode 2, Attack of the Clones. It shows Boba Fett and Jango Fett, what happens to Jango Fett, and then it shows everything that happens in the Clone Wars. And man, Boba Fett he was just a kid, so it's hard to really judge him, but he's just not good at things as a kid. Like, he just gets shit on constantly, and it's like, oh, this is a bummer. This is not how I thought of Boba Fett after I, in the 80s, after I saw Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back. Look, the fanboys like me had built this dude up just because he looked so cool, despite his goofy ass seemingly death, where he got hit in the back by a blind guy and fell into a Sarlacc pit. But we still
they didn't have to make him a loser. They could have went a different route.
When you see it really condensed like that in this 4-minute trailer, you're just like, God damn, this dude sucks. This guy fucking sucks. Like, he has no good luck. But again, he is a kid. He's learning. And there's a big gap between that and Empire Strikes Back. So, like, for being a kid to being, no disintegrations guy, where you're just like, holy shit, this guy disintegrates people. And then of course you have his debut in The Mandalorian, which was totally badass and just lived up to every Boba Fett fanboy's expectations. They're like, yes, he's got that gaffy stick. He's fucking decimating people.
Knee rockets.
Everything. It was so badass when he stepped out and started killing people.
The gaffy stick, was that the same one? The sand.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Tusken Raiders.
Yeah.
Tusken Raider. Yeah.
And so with this episode, it's very much just a foundational kind of world building episode. It didn't have a big hook in it like the first episode of Mandalorian did. I feel like that's the only thing I can really contrast and compare it with is Mandalorian, because it's a TV show and it's about a guy in Mandalorian armor. So when I think about that first episode of Mandalorian, which I watched like 3 times back to back when it first came out, because I love the action. I love that whole gunslinger Western vibe. And then the very end, the reveal of Grogu was just such a big hook for me, someone who loved Yoda, and to see like this baby version of him. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And this episode did not have a hook like that for me at all. It was what I would call fine. It was a fine episode.
Well, I mean, when you compare it to the first Mandalorian, I agree, but it's still a good first episode. We got to see him get out of the Sarlacc pit. We got to see him choke out a new monster. That had to be a nod to Leia choking out, what's his name? Jabba.
Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool. The Tusken Raiders thing, I was like, it's all right. I mean, he's obviously going to befriend them, and he's going to call on them later at some point, right. I'm assuming.
Right.
But yeah, that had a lot in it. I thought it was decent, but compared to Mandalorian, I agree. It was fine.
It's fine. It's a fine.
I thought it was better than fine. I thought it was great. I mean, it wasn't the best, like you said. I mean, it didn't pop like Mandalorian did. But plus we've had all the crap since Mandalorian to look forward to. So I thought it was really good. I thought they did a good job.
I mean, like I said, it's fine. That's not a dig at all. It's just, like I said, it's very foundational. They're setting up, he's taking over for Jabba. They're kind of setting up the lay of the land. They're setting up the mayor to be some type of villain. We can assume those assassins were sent by the mayor, or that's what I assume at this point.
It had better fight scenes than The Matrix, for God's sakes, and it was only like 30 minutes long.
Matrix was not fine. So again, this is not a disparaging. Saying it's fine is not bad. Like you can have gradients. It doesn't have to be great or terrible.
What happened to Boba since the fight in Mando? Like, did he just get that much older? He sucked in this last one. I was like, why is he...
the sleeping in the back to tank? That's worrisome, is it not?
Yeah, I was like, do you have to go there every time you fight something?
Right. I mean, he did get the shit kicked out of him, but Fennec Shand, she seemed to be fine. So
I thought he just got electrocuted, but he got stabbed.
Oh, did he? Okay, yeah, I watched it twice.
Yeah, I believe he got stabbed.
Oh, okay.
And electrocuted at the same time.
I didn't see a stabbing. I'll have to go back and look at that.
I think that's a stab wound.
Oh.
But I like that. I feel like this is going to be a slow burn thing is all. Like, I don't have any issues with it, but it just, like, if I was a new viewer, if I was somebody who wasn't a Boba Fett fan, I would just be like, okay. But like so Mandalorian, I was like, oh my God, what's happening next? Right now, I feel like I have some idea of what is going to happen next. But yeah, the whole thing, this whole building a criminal empire could be very, very interesting. And I feel like because it's written by Favreau, or at least this first episode was, that it might actually contribute to the Star Wars universe at large. So it made me start thinking about when we saw those guys like tagging that house on Tatooine. They were like leaving that mark. I didn't know what that was, but it reminded me of, what do they call, like the Black Sun or something? Red Sun? I forget what they're called. That Kira was left in charge of basically in Solo, and made me wonder if we're going to see Kira and her gang, because you got criminal warlords. So you got Darth Maul is still out there. I believe, is Darth Maul alive or dead? I can't remember at this point.
I was dead.
Dead right now.
Obi-Wan killed him.
When? I don't know where we're at.
Yeah, where in the timeline though? What is it after?
I thought that was the after. Oh, wait a minute. No, he was fighting.
How old was Obi-Wan when he killed him?
Obi-Wan was kind of old.
Was he old?
Yeah.
So I don't know if Darth Maul's alive or not.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Obi-Wan killed him at that campfire on Tatooine.
Right. But at what point in the timeline is that? I
thought that was the last time we saw him. Because we were like, damn, fucking Obi-Wan
the last time we saw him was
Ahsoka.
In Ahsoka doesn't have a show yet.
Clone Wars Season 7, wasn't that it?
Well, I was thinking of the movies, though, like Solo, where we see him leading.
Chronological, well, not chronological, but last time he was in a movie, the latest movie he was in.
Yeah. But
chronologically, it was Rebels where he got killed.
And where is this sit with Rebels?
Again. That's what I thought Rebels takes place after A New Hope.
Okay, so he's dead then, because this takes place after Jedi.
He should be dead.
Okay, so we're not going to see Darth Maul.
But I don't know. I'm so confused.
It's very confusing.
I thought the same thing, Sean. I was wondering if Darth Maul was alive.
Yeah, so I think you guys are right though. I think he's
dead
at this point.
Though. That was a good point.
When's the oh no, yeah, he's dead. He's dead.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you guys are right. I get really confused now. It used to be something I could like really track, but with all these like different shows kind of splintering off, it's like, where is this? Where is that? You know?
Yeah. It was Rebels that he died.
I did not see Matt Berry.
Oh, did you?
When I first watched it, I Googled it and I was like, oh, shit, man, I didn't see him. I Googled it and he was
he's the voice.
The droid.
Yeah, he's the.
And then
I don't know if did you recognize the droid?
I did immediately.
When he first starts talking, I was like, man, he's really doing a good job. And then I think by the end, I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely him. You know what I mean?
Did you recognize the actual droid though?
Yeah.
The droid, it looked like the droid from
Return of the Jedi.
Was it Return of the Jedi? I thought it was Empire Strikes Back.
This is when that one robot was getting branded on the feet.
Yeah, he's the torture droid. That's the torture droid from Jedi.
Torture droid. Okay, yeah. Jedi.
I always love that scene. The guy was like,
he's got the gonk droid upside down.
Right.
Is it the same droid or is it a droid like it?
Yeah,
I would imagine since it's Jabba's palace and he's utilizing that droid like a protocol droid at this point because he doesn't have a protocol droid.
Yeah.
So that was my assumption there. But yeah, I liked seeing that torture droid. What do you want, Crowley? Come here.
What are you gonna do with that? The mayor's the guy the mayor sent. I would have killed that guy. I would have been like, get out of here.
I thought that was pretty good. I liked the dialogue. I thought that was funny.
I'd be like, tribute. Here's your tribute. How about a fucking decapitation? There you go.
Right.
Well, that's.
But I mean, I do like that he's. I feel like this is going to be a thing where he's going to be driven to violence. I think that's what they're setting up. Like he's trying not to be violent.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too, dude.
But he's going to be driven to do some fucking horse in the bed type shit. You know, horsehead.
Yeah.
Godfather type shit or something. I don't know. That's what I want though. I want like this vicious Boba Fett to come out to just be like, oh, okay.
Did you see his facial expression when he was pissed off and he took the lightning sword or spears and he was like, his face was like he was so angry and he hit that dude. Like his face was like, I was like, oh, he's about to snap.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's pretty. I thought I was like, I'm wondering if that aggression's going to eventually come out like that.
Well, I feel like it will.
If he does get aggressive, like who better to be to be behind him than Tusken Raiders, dude? They'll just ravage people, man.
I like the Tusken Raider that just is always sipping on his coffee, watching. He's like,
no, that was his watermelon.
This is water. I know, but I just thought that he'd always come out. It's like me in the morning with a cup of coffee. He's like, yep, just looking around, sipping my coffee.
So I do have to say, going all the way back to episode 2, Attack of the Clones, I have never really cared for their casting of Jango Fett / Boba Fett. And honestly, that still holds true. I don't think the guy is terrible, but he's a Kiwi. You know, he's from New Zealand. He's got that Taika Waititi kind of. He's not intimidating in the voice at all. And if you watch like those Blu-rays I sent you of the original trilogy with the original voiceover before Lucas added the Tamira Morse, how are you so tired? You are on vacation. What are you doing wrong? Wake up, Rob. Like, come on, man.
Got coffee, man.
Anyway,
all day.
It's decaf.
But I've just never. He's a short guy. And again, the voice they voiced over the original guy. You know, he's no good to me dead is now he's no good to me dead. You know, it's like, and it's just he's not intimidating in stature, and he's doing the best he can. But I've always been disappointed with that choice. And so that's something that's working against him for me. And I thought he did a great job in The Mandalorian. And even in this show, you know, they show him getting really angry and stuff, but he's the same size as Ming-Na Wen, who is tiny. So it's just, you know what I mean? Like, he's just not an intimidating guy like the way he looked in Empire and Jedi and how he sounded in Empire and Jedi. So that's just a little, as a Boba Fett fan, it's a point of contention. And it's something he kind of has to work against in my eyes because he's a Kiwi. Like, Kiwis are great, man. They're so nice and pleasant, you know, like you think of Flight of the Conchords and What We Do in the Shadows and that type of stuff. They're just like, hey guys, you know, and so he's got a lot working against him there because they just seem like such pleasant people and he has to be like this badass. So it's a little frustrating for
and
me.
He's old and slow. That's what's turning me off. It's just like, he looked a lot better in Mandalorian.
He got a little bloated in the Sarlacc pit compared to what he looked like in Return of the Jedi.
That's what I told Sean. I was like, he came out fat. How'd he gain that much weight?
I told him.
I started laughing when I saw him crumb out. I was like, oh, they're using him. I was like,
right. Instead of using somebody else in the suit.
I thought they might use like a skinny guy and just keep his helmet on, use a skinny guy, and then, you know, when they show him older, spot on.
Yeah.
Or do a Chris Evans Captain America thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like do something to kind of, but yeah, I was telling Steve, I was like, apparently in the Sarlacc pit, those acids, they bloat you. kind of shrink you a little, bloat you up a little bit. Nothing you can do about it.
He's like going to all the dead stormtroopers and just eating their arms. Ow. Ow. That was cool seeing a stormtrooper stuck in there, like half.
That was you, Stormtrooper Steve. You fell in the pit.
Steve stuck in the Sarlacc.
You tripped on the barge and fell in.
Well, he couldn't have been in there long because he had to get that oxygen from Stormtrooper Steve. So
yeah,
but that was cool seeing him get out. Get the flamethrower going. Like Sean was saying, you know, of course he's going to get out. He's a fucking walking Swiss Army knife.
It was literally what I've been saying since I was like 8 years old. I was like, dude, he's got a flamethrower. He's got a jetpack. He's got rockets. He's getting out of the goddamn Starlight. And it'd be, no. And then they had the badass Boba Fett in the expanded universe, like in the books and the comics back then. But that's all been erased, obviously. And he did survive in that previous continuity, and he survived in this one now too. But there kind of is a part of me that's kind of like, man, I hope he gets a little more badass, because like his appearance in Mandalorian was like perfect. It was exactly what I wanted to see from Boba Fett.
Dude, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Just what you said, dude. He's gonna try and walk the righteous path or whatever, and then eventually he's gonna be like, all right, I've had enough.
Right.
And he's just going to fucking...
And everybody's going to wake up with a goddamn tauntaun head in their bed. And then it's on from there.
I would agree with you, but he's got to be a hero.
I don't think he does.
It's Disney.
I mean, no, I see your point from that angle, but Robert Rodriguez, though, I mean, he's good with anti-heroes.
He's only doing the first three, though, right?
So I don't know. I haven't read anything about it. I don't look for spoilers, Bob.
I don't. I saw that he was doing.
Rob's like, let me tell you how this is going to end.
Right.
No,
I haven't read anything about it, so I didn't know that.
I didn't read.
That's
it. I've read about Robert Rodriguez and how he said there's nothing in the trailers to give away or something. And
well, that's all I saw was that little meme somebody made. I didn't read the article though.
I saw that he was doing the first 3. I don't know.
What'd you think?
I thought he wrote them, but I guess John wrote it when I saw the credits.
Oh. What'd you guys think of the rooftop fight?
Or the entry?
You like that?
With Fennec Shand?
Yeah.
I like
where she kicked that guy off the edge.
Yeah, I like that too because I was actually thinking that when he's like alive, I was like, they really only need one of them, and she was just like, she like kind of looked at both of them like, I'll take this one.
and we got to see Boba just shoot a rocket at that one guy.
Yes,
that was great.
Disintegration.
Just left part of his body on the wall there.
that was a cool moment. Like he wasn't fucking her. It was just a wrist rocket too. He's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, so, there might be hope for you, Rob. He might be a bad guy. He might not be all good.
I don't think I think he'll walk that gray area because he's a crime lord. You can't be a crime lord and be a good guy. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to be like a respectable crime lord, but yeah, I'm very.
What about
curious.
Robin Hood?
So, he's not a crime lord, really. I mean, he's just a criminal. I never thought of him as a crime lord. I guess maybe
he robbed people.
He did. But when I think crime lord, I think more like Godfather, Sopranos, Breaking Bad kind of thing. Like, somebody. Robin Hood seemed more like a fly by the seat of his pants kind of guy. But yeah, of course, like this wasn't like watching the first episode of Hawkeye where I was immediately like, oh, this is going to be terrible. So like I said, it's a fine setup. It's nothing like mind blowing, but they didn't disappoint me really. Like, I'm not like, oh God, why did they do that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't really have anything to complain about, but I don't have anything to really heap lavish amounts of praise on either. Is all I'm saying.
Because you were hypnotized by the member berries. That's why you were like Max Rebo. And I don't care if this is a shitty episode. Max Rebo.
Variation of the Cantina music too. Did you catch that? They were playing the Cantina theme, but just a variation of it.
Yeah. Rodriguez plays the guitar.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, he does play guitar a lot. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And Logan commented on it because Logan plays guitar. He's like, wow, tremolo picking in a Star Wars movie. Yeah.
Was Mos Espa mentioned anywhere in the other movies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very common. I don't know. Mos Espa's like been around in Star Wars lore for a long time.
Where the
No, I meant in the movies, in the original trilogy. Did they mention it?
Mos
Espa. The original?
I couldn't tell you where I've heard it, but I've probably heard it in video games, books, comics, movies, shows.
The pod racing.
Was that Mos Espa or was that Mos Eisley?
I have no idea.
I don't know either. I don't think it really matters, but I have heard of Mos Espa though. I'm pretty sure they mentioned it in movies. Listener, feel free to weigh in on our Facebook page if you could find it.
Now that's pod racing.
This is podcasting. All right. That's the worst thing I've ever said.
That was Steve level bad.
Yeah, that was worse than when I said Bazinga.
That was like cringeworthy.
Appearances of Mos Espa, The Phantom Menace, and Attack of the Clones.
There you go. So in the movies.
I thought that was Luke Skywalker's house in that one scene.
Dude, all the houses look like that. It's Tatooine. That's where the poor people live.
I was like, oh man, this is a jinxed house. That poor
Anakin
owner's getting beaten. And
Anakin was from Mos Espa.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty sure that's where the pod racing was.
So I mean, I have a reasonable amount of excitement. I do want to see where this is going, and I feel like Boba Fett is in good hands, and that's what matters most. After seeing how they handled him in Mandalorian, Jon Favreau is great. Robert Rodriguez is great. I'm sure they'll bring in other directors and writers to continue that tradition, just like they did with the Mandalorian. So I'm not worried at all. Like I said, I wasn't blown away is all I'm saying. It didn't have that hook like Mandalorian did for me. But I'm still engaged. I'm fully engaged.
I heard Robert Rodriguez. That might be a spoiler. Never mind. I won't say it.
All right. So did anybody compile any year-end favorites, least favorites? Because I did. I'm always ready to go with a list. Everybody loves lists.
Yeah.
Just
Rob,
ask
are you hitting your microphone? I can hear something. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. All right. Yes, I do. Rob, did you compile a list?
Yeah.
Nice.
No. Didn't read the comic either. Were we supposed to read a comic for this one?
Yeah, that's
no, we're not going to cover Daredevil yet. I'm not going to threaten you with that homework.
You said next year.
All right, where do you want to start? You want to start top or bottom?
Let's just go around. Like I said, what I did is I just picked a few things that I enjoyed this year. I did movies, I did comics, and I did shows.
This feels like a BuzzFeed.
Yes, that's exactly that's what I mean. People love lists. That's why BuzzFeed is still alive.
I do love a list.
Yeah, people like lists, but mine isn't really a list because it's not really numbered. And some things I have like 3 things for. Some things I have 1 thing for. So
yeah, I got
favorites.
I got a top 3 of movies, comics, and TV shows, and then I have a worst 3 of those same categories.
Okay.
Wow.
So right, Rob, where do you want to start?
I want to start with Rob. I want to what was probably your favorite movie that you saw this year?
Spider-Man, for sure.
Spider-Man. That's my top movie too.
I mean, we can all agree on that.
The second one was probably the James Bond movie, No Time to Die.
I haven't seen. I still got to see that.
Good. Did not like the ending, but I did like everything else.
Yeah, I did like that one. My top was No Way Home, though. I'm with you guys. I mean, come on.
That's pretty simple.
I don't even remember any other movies.
Steve, what was your? I already know the answer to this, but what was your least favorite movie that you saw this year?
Well, I have 3.
All right, pick one. Just pick one to share with us right now.
It's probably going to be The Matrix because of how much I loved it. And how much of a disappointment it was.
Ugh.
But I don't think it was overall. I don't think it was the worst movie. But for me personally, it's got to be the worst thing.
That was your most disappointing movie, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you would say?
I would say so.
Biggest disappointment.
I have a worse movie, but the biggest
Matrix. The Matrix Kills Erections was Steve's biggest disappointment.
I still haven't watched it again yet. I'm trying to put it in
that sounds right. Try to put it in. You got the thumb on it. You got the thumb. And it's not working.
You know what I mean? I gotta watch it again, dude. I'm still trying to cope with the fucking fact that I put my wife's vagina before the safety of my children. So like, I can't deal with any more introspection.
Steve's biggest
I
disappointment.
hate women now. I found out, and it's just I've got enough trauma going on right now. I'm just going to stay away from Matrix for a while.
So I started to rewatch The Matrix, and it's so weird because like it doesn't really, it's not bad until you get to a certain point, in my opinion. But but at the same time, the whole thing, it's very weird. I have very conflicting emotions about this movie. Because there's some really enjoyable dialogue and really enjoyable concepts. I think the whole meta commentary about big movie studios and the idea of sequels and all that kind of stuff, and just public reaction to sequels. You got the one guy saying like, anything where I need a syllabus and a dictionary or something like to take notes, I don't want to play or whatever. And it's like obviously talking about how people felt about The Matrix 2 and 3. They didn't like all the big words, ergo, concordantly. So I liked a lot of things in it. I like Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss.
Oh, dude, I respect the Wachowskis so much, too. And I'm starting to think Lana, she was just like, fuck Warner Brothers. I'm going to make a piece of shit movie I'm going to cash that check and fuck them. Because that's how bad it was. It's like,
I really want to know what the budget was before I go.
I do too. It had to be a lower
if they
budget.
Didn't give her any money, then she did what she could. Yeah. Of course, I don't know. Well, you didn't have to force push everything.
But the whole thing, though, too, is I guess it's different for Force Awakens. Steve has said that this is like how I felt about Force Awakens. A lot of my issue with Force Awakens was the fact that we knew it was the first of a trilogy, and it was a terrible setup for a trilogy. So that was one of my many issues, I should say, but it was one of the bigger issues. Is I was like, this is a horrible way to start a trilogy. The difference being with this, it doesn't feel like it's the start of anything. It feels like an exclamation point on the trilogy. Like they're not trying to set up anything. They wanted a movie. She delivered a movie and did the super mega happy ending with Neo and Trinity. And so it's different in that regard because, again, there's no effort to set anything up as far as I can tell anyway. It just didn't feel that way to me. It felt like it ended and that's that.
They asked James McTeague if there were any plans for sequels, and he was like, "Not at this time."
Okay.
Who's Jeff Teague?
He's
one of the producers. But he works with Wachowskis. He directed V for Vendetta. He directed Ninja Assassin.
So okay, that's where I've heard him.
And he's worked. I think he worked on the original Matrix movies too. But yeah. So it's weird. It's a different level of disappointment for me. But to me, it's a lot more watchable than Force Awakens, though.
So are you saying that was your worst movie of the year, or
no? This is not. That is not my fault. Actually, it's not at all. Actually,
he didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, that's my most disappointing movie of the year for sure.
It was disappointing. I have a 3-way tie for worst movie.
I do too.
Okay, so,
you want me to go or you want to go?
I'm going to go. Two of them.
Huh?
Go for it, Rob. Guess. Are you talking to me or Steve?
Eternals and Carnage.
Eternals.
That's not
Venom
mine.
Is 2. Rob is 2 for 2. He got 2 out of 3.
I know the last one. I'll tell you
what's
it
the
right
last
now.
one?
It's Justice League.
Yes, you got it. You fucking nailed it. That's all 3 of them right there. Justice League, Snyder Cut,
that came out.
Venom, and Eternals are 3 of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. They're up there with Aquaman for just how terrible they fucking are. So they are awful. I don't even recommend watching them to me, there's no enjoyment to be derived from watching these 3 movies. Just don't do it. Are any of those on your list?
That was tied for 3 was 3 worst movies: Matrix, Justice League, and Eternals. That was my 3. I forgot about Carnage to be honest.
It's very forgettable. It's a very forgettable movie.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that bad.
That was bad.
I thought it was fine.
You did think it was fine. You really did.
What?
You and most people.
What was that extra credit scene at the end of Spider-Man? What is that saying? There's supposed to be a little bit of Venom left in the 616. Is that what we're saying?
That's what it seems like.
But the Carnage and the Venom that we know is going back to their universe.
That's
the takeaway. Like. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I just want to make sure I got that right.
Yeah, there'll be
Did you guys catch who the bartender was?
Yeah, it's the dude from Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Football is life.
Yeah, that guy. I don't know his name.
Danny something.
In my mind, I call that guy Cristiano Ronaldo because I know he's a soccer player, but I have no idea what he looks like. So it's that guy.
And not like
that's him. An Italian guy.
Not like him.
No. But yeah, those 3 movies, and I mean they're all comic book movies too. I had no investment in Eternals whatsoever. Didn't know anything about them, but it's just a bad movie, like from every aspect of it. It's got an overbloated budget for what you see on screen. Terrible costume design, completely boring 2-dimensional characters, no emotional attachment to anything as far as I could tell. The villain was terrible. There's like no redeeming qualities there. It was just so bad. It was so bad. That's probably my worst overall. But yeah, Justice League, Snyder Cut. 4 hours. Like imagine you have to imagine you have like razor shit diarrhea and you have to do it for 4 hours straight. That's Justice League.
I've at least watched that 1.5 times. I still haven't watched The Matrix twice yet. I'm still
Rob, what's on your worst movie list? Do you have a worst movie?
No, man, there's no bad movies.
There's no bad movies. Okay.
You like the Tomorrow War?
That's Rob's favorite.
No,
that's his number one.
It was entertaining. I just didn't think it was like great. It was so good.
Yeah, like Carnage.
That was Steve. I did not say Carnage was. Dude, that was awesome. That's what you were doing with tomorrow.
All right. So, Rob, aside from Spider-Man and Venom, what are your favorite movies? What's another favorite movie?
I didn't say Venom.
Nice catch.
I said No Time to Die.
That's right. No Time to Die. Okay.
That's right.
Nice try.
All right, moving on to favorite television series.
Wait, I'm not done with movies yet.
Oh, you're not?
No, I got other favorite movies. I love Suicide Squad. I watched that thing like 3 times all the way through.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was great. Another movie I don't know if it's like great, but I liked Dune. Even though it was only like half a movie, it was half of a really good movie.
Yeah, I can't put a to be continued one on the.
Yeah, it's literally half a movie, so it's disappointing that they should have just pulled a Snyder cut and did 4 hours. It would have been way more enjoyable.
That was good though.
And then a movie that I really enjoyed, I think it came out last year. It's a movie called Host, and it was filmed during the pandemic. It's a horror movie filmed over Zoom, and it was like really well done. Like these people are meeting up for a Zoom call to do a seance, and it goes horribly wrong.
Oh, I heard somebody talk about this.
And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really clever for what it was. Obviously very low budget.
Like the whole movie was like that, right? Over a Zoom call,
it's
right?
all over Zoom. And you get like some security camera footage and stuff like that, but the gist of it is over Zoom, and it was like really well done, really enjoyable, really tight. But yeah, it was creepy. So yeah, it's called Host. I don't remember what streaming service I watched it on. I'm not going to try to guess either, because I probably frustrated a lot of people with that one that was on Apple TV or whatever. All right, so Steve, what do you want to move on to?
Favorite television series.
All right, Steve is WandaVision. Just get that out there.
Yeah, it is.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Oh man, she got the fucking Darkhold, man.
Okay.
Fuck, that's great.
Okay.
I love it. And then you got fucking Ship of Theseus Vision out there somewhere, Then Monica Rambeau's a mutant, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what's going on, but oh man, I love that series. Fucking loved it. And I got to see her in her badass Scarlet Witch outfit. So
that was a cool payoff. I did like seeing the Scarlet Witch outfit. And plus I just really like Elizabeth Olsen. I like Vision. I did like some stuff from it, but overall I think I was disappointed though. It did have some emotional moments in it. I'm not going to lie.
That's another reason I liked it. It evoked the strongest emotion out of anything I've watched this year from me multiple times. So
yeah,
that took the cake for me.
Far From Home, or no, whatever the home, No Way Home. Is that it? That's the one that got the most. Like that turned on the waterworks for me.
All right, I don't feel bad. I thought I kept getting them damn names mixed up.
Dude, I hate it. I can't.
You're
half the time I can't even remember
Spider-Man
the name of the second
fan,
one,
and you still can't get it right. So
I'm too old. It's like Homecoming or
maybe
you can't call him Spider-Man. You can't call him Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 because those already exist. So it's like fuck. Spider-Man Home 1, Spider-Man Home 2, and Spider-Man Home 3. That's my shorthand from now on.
I like that.
Fucking stupid. Rob, what was your favorite show?
My favorite TV show?
Yeah,
probably What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows? Yeah. That's on my list because I finally watched that this year.
Fucking watched it.
I finally watched it. I really enjoyed that. Another one I really enjoyed was Invincible.
I forgot about that. That was good. I don't know if it was way up there.
That was I liked that one a lot. So I thought it was a solid adaptation of the comic. I finished watching the MacGruber series. That was fun. It had some really funny moments in it. There's some other parts that were just kind of that awkward humor. But other parts were just really funny.
I was trying to think of something I watched that wasn't like Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, did I watch anything?
I watched the Chucky series. That was enjoyable. I enjoyed that. That was on Sci-Fi and USA. Least favorites would have to be I have Hawkeye. I have WandaVision. I have The Bad Batch. That was very disappointing for me. And the What If series. Those 4 were all disappointing.
What If was my most disappointing series. What If?
Hawkeye was for me, man. I've talked about that a lot recently, so I'm not going to go into it, but it's dog shit.
The only thing I liked in What If was the dark Doctor Strange,
right?
Pretty much. So I liked a bunch of Hawkeye in the beginning. Yeah, Rob.
Just keep talking. Did you see they have a new episode of Knight Rider?
Dude, what the fuck is that true? I looked that up. I'm like, there's no way, because I scrolled through. And I'm like, I don't see which one of these episodes is new. Did you see which one is new?
If there is. Are you fucking toying with me?
I don't know if it never got aired or what. I don't know. I just saw Netflix.
Oh, is it clickbait?
No, I think it was a
Molly
mistake.
was flipping through and she was like, Knight Rider, and it said new episode. Episodes or episode, I don't know.
Just what it said, new episode. Yeah. So Maggie and
then they were showing it. And you know how the Netflix starts the, like preview, and I don't ever remember seeing whatever was going on. It was like Kit was destroyed, and Michael and Devin were talking, and Kit was like talking like through just like one red thing. Because he was all dismantled.
You got me all excited.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't remember that. I was like,
so there is a new episode, because Maggie and I went through looking for the episode that was labeled new episode.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find it. And I was like, I have no fucking idea. Here's what's funny though, going through there. So there's 4 seasons, tons of episodes, like 100 episodes or whatever. And every single thumbnail they chose for this series, almost every single one, is just a picture of David Hasselhoff's face. Every single one is just a picture of David Hasselhoff. It had me crack. I was like, somebody did this on purpose. Usually the thumbnails are like different images from the episode, different people. It could have been pictures of Kit, and it's literally just a different picture of David Hasselhoff for almost every single episode as we went looking for it.
Oh, dude. So
do some digging there. I haven't seen every episode, so I honestly wouldn't even know what the new episode was.
I mean,
I thought
it's been so
there would
long.
Be like something that was filmed now or something. That's what I was looking for. I was like, did they film a new episode of fucking Knight Rider? What is going on?
So you're saying it's just an old episode that got lost in the archives or something?
I don't know.
I looked it up online. I couldn't find anything on it when I did like my little quick Google search for like new episode of Knight Rider. I found a bunch of shit, but nothing that actually said, hey, there's a new episode of Knight Rider on Netflix.
I hope it's one with Goliath. Remember Goliath? It was the big fucking truck.
Yeah.
And it was
the monster truck, right?
Yeah, it was. But the driver was David Hasselhoff, the evil David Hasselhoff.
Right.
So he just had like a mustache or something.
Right.
But it was like Kit versus a giant semi with a trailer and everything.
I always like Kit and Car is what I always
Car.
Like.
Car. Dude, that was great.
Stuff. So Goliath was not a monster truck then, so it was just a semi truck.
Yeah, it was a semi. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Full truck and trailer with evil David Hasselhoff, his alter ego or whatever.
And did the truck have a mustache too?
Yeah, it might have.
That's how you know it's an evil
that
truck.
show is so cheesy. I loved it though. Yo, Devin. Fucking yeah. Well, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to look that up.
All right, Rob, do you have a favorite comic for the year?
Did I read comics this year?
Did you? I don't know. Anything? Nothing? All right, we'll get back to you. Steve, did you have a favorite comic?
Yeah,
it was an audio program, by the way.
Yeah, it was Moon Knight.
Okay.
And Moon Knight, I love that series. I can't remember the artist and the writer right now. I'm sorry. But the one we read this year, I really enjoyed, and it got me hooked on Moon Knight.
Was it like David Finch and Charlie
Finch.
somebody?
Yeah.
Forget who the writer was. Charlie somebody.
Look what I bought. Check out this Moon Knight.
What is that? Is that the 1/6 or 1/12 series or whatever?
1/12, yeah.
Okay.
This is Moon Knight action figure. He looks pretty sweet.
Very cool.
Love this dude, man. Love it.
So that 1/12 line from Mezco is basically like it's like the smaller version of a Hot Toy and something.
Yeah.
It's not as good, but it's still pretty cool. They have a 1/12 dark side that I fucking want so bad. It's like $200 though.
Yeah. It's pricey, so I can see how it's Hot Toys related. And it's got a little podium so you can stand on, and I thought that was cool, so I had some money to blow. So,
Rob, you look like you got some bad news on your phone. What's going on?
I was reading about. I think it's Knight Rider 2000.
no,
that's a separate series. That's on there too.
That's another series.
That's on Netflix too. I saw.
Or they
that.
just put new episodes because it's new to Netflix. I don't know.
Right, but it said new episode singular. That's what intrigued me by it. That's why I was like, "What the fuck?" And I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not familiar enough because I didn't have TV back then. But I remember watching it at my grandma's house and obviously loving it. And Steve had the fucking the big wheel, the Knight Rider big wheel.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love that thing. Yeah, Moon Knight was my favorite. What about you guys?
I have Venom, which was the Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman run ended this year. It's like 35 issues culminated. That includes King in Black. That includes Absolute Carnage. All that stuff I thought was just fantastic. And then out of the stuff we read this year, I put Hawkeye, the good Hawkeye source material that they chose to mostly ignore. I loved reading The Crow again, and pretty much any Punisher stuff I read that came out or didn't come out this year, but it's older stuff. But that's I don't really have any like least favorite comics because usually if I don't like a comic, I just stop reading it. It's really cool.
My bad. I thought we were just narrowing it down to one, but I had a couple honorable mentions. Fine. I had some honorable mentions. I had We Only Find Them When They're Dead. I really liked. And what's the other one I just read? It was good. It's like a horror. Oh, Gideon Falls. That was is pretty good. So that was a horror one. It's pretty creepy. I like it a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, there's some honorable. Rob's like, I don't ever want to read a fucking comic again.
It's like
I think Rob fell asleep.
No, I didn't. I thought Hawkeye, the comic, better than the TV show.
Yes.
I thought Hawkeye was really good. Lobo, I enjoyed Lobo.
Yeah, that was one we did this year.
Lobo was good. Yeah.
And the Punisher. So far, every Punisher's good. So
yeah, that's why it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I get it.
So sad to see what's happening to that character. The other thing I had on my TV show list as kind of like an in the middle thing was the new Masters of the Universe because I have a lot of mixed feelings about that, but I'm not going to go into that.
I never did finish that. Is it worth watching?
Yeah, it's worth watching. I think you'll be entertained by it.
Is it just fine?
It has some really cool, like the last episode, like the big epic battle is pretty awesome. Right. It's got some cool moments, but again, just the whole notion of somebody coming in that it's the J.J. Abrams thing. You bring in somebody who's not actually a fan of a property. They just want to put their stamp on it. And this is what you get basically, but they're like the animation looked great. What's that?
I thought it was Kevin Smith.
Yeah. And he's like your age. He's way too old for He-Man. Like he's older than you. He said in an interview, I was too old for He-Man. I thought it was stupid. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he said because that cartoon, yes, when you watch that cartoon, it is like geared towards like 5-year-olds, but that was like my age group, in 83, I was like 5-6 years old. Like that's who it was for. He's in his 50s. He was too old for He-Man. He just was like, it's kind of like how when Ninja Turtles came out, I was right on the edge of that being too old for Ninja Turtles. So I got frustrated with the cartoon really quickly because of how corny it was, but I still liked the idea of the Ninja Turtles. And then when the movie came out in 90, I was like, that's how I envisioned the Ninja Turtles fucking kicking ass, and so I knew it could be all. And then I discovered the comics after that. And I was like, yes, this is what the show should be. But the show was always garbage. I don't care what anybody says.
You think Motu Revelations is going to get a second season?
I have no idea. I don't know the viewership numbers, and that's ultimately what it comes down to. I feel like they lost a lot of viewers going from part 1 to part 2. And then you have people like Keith, like the super dedicated fans who just bounced off of after 20 minutes, they were like, fuck you. And I love that strong reaction to things though from fans. Like I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's toxic. That's this and that. It's like, no, that's somebody that loves a property, has respect for a property, and they recognize immediately when a creator comes in and does not respect the property and has to make these stupid changes. How did he word it? Changes that are not organic to the source material. And I will use that forever because it's such a great, because Keith is a fucking wordsmith. So he's really good with coming up with like short phrases to describe stuff that take me like fucking 30 paragraphs. But like that's exactly what he did though. He came in and he had to put a political touch on it and this and that. It's like, you don't even fucking like He-Man. We can tell. We can tell right away you don't like He-Man. And it's also frustrating too because She-Ra got a reboot a few years ago. It got 5 fucking seasons on Netflix. Like they already did the female He-Man stuff. Get the fuck out of here. They already did that. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But there's still some, it's weird because like the talent is great. The art looks great. The animation looks great. The fight choreography is cool. The character designs are great. You got great actors, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Lena Headey, Mark Hamill, Henry Rollins briefly, Alicia Silverstone, Diedrich Bader. You got a great cast. That guy, Liam Gallagher, I think is his name. Or wait, no, I think it's one of the Oasis guys.
Guy? Yeah, that's the Oasis guy.
I don't know his name. He's in, I think his name's Liam something. Forever. Or maybe it's Gallagher or something. He was on Game of Thrones, though. He was like I forget his name on Game of Thrones now, but he was the guy that he had the
I never saw it. I still have to watch Game of Thrones.
Rob will know who I'm talking about. He took care of that girl that had like that dragon skin disease. And then he watched her.
Why the fuck haven't I watched that yet? I gotta get on some shit.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's Liam something. It's not Liam Gallagher though. It's the Oasis guys.
He's Khaleesi. He was in love with Khaleesi, even though he was the older. He was like
no. This is a different guy. That's not that it's not the guy who had dragon skin disease. He took care of the girl that had it.
Liam.
But he was anyway, he's great. He plays Man at Arms. But yeah, there's just so many elements that are really good in
I just laughed that you asked Rob for a correct name.
I don't know what the fuck I was
thinking. I'm sure Rob's got this. Stay strong. Be confident, Rob.
I used to know everybody's name. Now I forget everything, or I get the names backwards or something.
What does I call like Black Widow will always be Natalie to me from now on. Like it's just like she looks like a Natalie. I don't know what to tell you. She doesn't have a Russian accent. She's not a Natasha. But yeah, it's just weird because like I did like the idea too that they were kind of doing like a long serialized story, unlike He-Man, which even the 2002 reboot for the most part did self-contained episodes. But that 2002 series was really good. Those were people who were passionate about the property and it fucking showed. And they had great character designs too. They had a lower budget. This had a bigger budget, obviously. And then they brought in somebody who was just like, He-Man was stupid. Like he wouldn't even use his sword. Like that's something Kevin Smith said. He wouldn't even use his sword. It's like, and he's right. That's how cartoons were in the 80s. And he was too old for He-Man. Like, yeah, it's pretty. No, you gotta bring in somebody literally my age. And I'm not saying me. You could bring in me. I could have done a much better job. But you got to bring in somebody that's like between the ages of like 40 and like 47. Like you can't go too much higher than that because that you're missing that the demographic that really enjoyed He-Man for what it was. So it was cool to see it come back and get a big budget production. I just hate that the direction they decided to go with it when they were handed these tools. It's very frustrating. It's just a very Kathleen Kennedy type move. Like, let's bring in somebody who hates the property, get a different point of view. I hate that so much.
I'm glad I didn't really love He-Man growing up because I couldn't have taken 2 soul crushings this year. So one is enough. Okay, comics. Was there any comics you read this year that you did not enjoy?
I know Sean's.
I was gonna say Rob's gonna say all of them.
I know Sean. He guessed mine. I'm gonna guess Sean. Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, that was atrocious.
Was that this year? That was this year. Wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure that was this year.
Beginning of this year.
Yeah, that's. I didn't even have a worse stuff, but if I was gonna pick one, that would definitely be it. Yeah. So somebody's paying attention. I think I erased that from my memory. I was like Green Lantern issues 12 through 13 offline or whatever that fucking.
That's what I do with
up.
all comics. Dude,
that is. Just toss it.
In and out.
There was the current run of the Flash I'm trying to get into, and it's just the stories are not good. I wish
they're not good.
I wish I keep searching for a Flash story. There's something I started called Batman Damned, and I was just confused. I didn't hate it. I was just confused, and that made me want to go back and start reading more Batman. So I started with the current run. I started with the Rebirth, and I'm moving on now. So
how far are you into Rebirth?
Probably about 7 issues.
Okay, so you got past like the Gotham Girl opener, Gotham Girl,
yeah,
Gotham,
yeah,
and then
Gotham Man or whatever.
I can't get into that run. I just feel like there's not enough Detective Batman in it. It kind of bothers me.
There was I think it was the first issue. There was an opening sequence where he like,
with the plane.
Yeah,
plane?
I was like,
cool.
I was like, I would love to see this on screen because this
Right?
is some crazy shit that fucking Batman would do. Now, I was envisioning it as a movie. I was like, oh my god, if they ever did this scene in a movie, it would be epic, man.
What
He just he gets from the he starts in his Batmobile, and then he has to chase this plane down it's about to crash into the city, and he somehow, like, he's got everything planned out, like all the measurements of how he's gonna, what speed he has to be at and what angle he's got to shoot his batarang at, and he somehow gets onto the plane after he shoots out of the Batmobile or something. I forget how he gets up there, but it's fucking crazy. And then he has to like mess with the ailerons or whatever to turn the plane, and he's basically getting it away from the city, and he knows it's a one-way street. He's like, I'm gonna die on this, and he's like telling Alfred goodbye and everything. And I was like, holy fuck, this shit is awesome.
Is he in the plane or on the outside?
He's like on the outside of the plane. Okay. He's like messing with the ailerons, trying to get it to turn, and he gets it into the ocean.
You talking about the flaps?
Yeah, whatever they're called, flaps.
I don't know.
Dude, I'm not a pilot.
Well, what the hell's an aileron?
I don't know any technical terms for.
Well, you're using what are you?
I thought that's what they were called. Aileron.
I don't know. Maybe they are. I always heard them flaps.
I don't know what it is. But anyway, he diverts the plane basically by himself, and he's taking it, nose diving it into the ocean, and he's like, okay, this is it, and he's telling Alfred goodbye. And then that's when we meet Gotham and Gotham Girl. They're like superheroes, and they save Batman at the last second before he goes into the ocean. And
so what started frustrating me about this run right away, not that story with their introduction, but I've never been a fan of Robin, and I'm definitely not a fan of the Bat family. Like, I've never been into like Batgirl and Batboy and Bat Codpiece and Robin and Red Robin and Red Robin 2 and they're all these people where I'm like, it's just called Batman. This isn't like Batman Justice League. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or this isn't Batman Suicide Squad. It's just fucking Batman. So I can't get into those stories where everybody's there doing Nightwing and just everyone, including new characters. And
yeah,
I'm just
there's a bunch of vigilantes that pop up, trying to do what Batman does in the first couple issues. I agree with you. And then Gotham Man and Gotham and Gotham Girl, like, were those brand new characters to this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are brand new.
Okay.
Because they run out of names.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dude's just called Gotham. He dies pretty quickly. And then Gotham Girl. And then, but again, like when it's the whole Bat family, Batwoman, Batgirl, and like, I don't mind like Oracle, like when he has Oracle doing, she's doing all the computer shit, when it's like Batman and Oracle, which is Gordon's daughter, like that doesn't bother me, and Alfred as support. But like, dude, when you have even just having one Robin puts me off, and then when you have like 4 Robins and Nightwing and 2 Batwomen, and it's like, fuck off. I can't. I'm just checked out like immediately. It's like, no, this dude is crazy. You can't tell me there's all these other crazy people that want to do the same shit as him. Like, what he's doing is nuts. It makes no sense. And, it makes sense for Oracle. She got shot by the Joker and she's paralyzed now. And so there's just certain things that just don't register don't click with me. Cause I've always thought of him as he's a fucking crazy dude. He's fucking crazy. He's not going to have a lot of people lining up to work with him. But again, I don't know. Trump got supporters, so who the fuck knows? But yeah, that's kind of the stuff that bothers me in the Batman books. Is like, it's one thing when they team up for an issue or two, like that's fine when they come in, but like when they're in like every issue, I'm like, I don't want to read about all these fucking people.
Did you say Gotham dies?
I think he dies.
Did Gotham Girl kill him? Like to save? Because he was going ape shit, and I thought she had to use like some of her powers to save him or something. Because that was an issue. It was like a Flash crossover. So a long time ago, I was reading the Flash, and I remember seeing these characters, but I've forgotten who they were until I started reading Batman. I was like, oh shit, those are the same superheroes. But there was a big battle, and I guess
that sounds right. I don't remember though how he died. I just know he does. Like she goes crazy because either she had to kill her brother or somebody killed her brother. I can't remember which one it was.
Okay.
Hey, remember when I said you guys should watch Young Justice?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Don't watch season 4.
Don't what?
Dude, I was shocked to discover I have purchased an episode of Young Justice, and it's like from season 2, and I think the whole reason I purchased it is because Lobo's in it. So I was going through my Voodoo.
Season 3, or no, maybe it shows up in season 2. I don't know, but stick around at the end. It's so freaking hilarious.
I think
what happens.
I watched that. I bought that episode like a long time, and I was just going through my Voodoo. I was like, what TV shows have I bought? And I was like, oh shit, I've actually watched an episode of this. Apparently, when I was going big on Lobo.
This last one, it's kind of disappointing.
You know what I want, and this is what I want to start doing since I want to start going weekly. Is and I told Rob this already. Is like every other week we watch something, and Rob really hates this podcast. Like Steve is the biggest fan of this podcast, and Rob is the one. He's like one going on YouTube, leaving all the dislikes. Like he's like, this show is terrible. I will take this show down.
I have never Googled us on YouTube. I didn't know we were on YouTube. I didn't know we were on.
Dislike counts as an interaction.
I knew we were on Instagram, and I have no idea how to get to Instagram. So I knew we were on that.
And you never will if you haven't gotten an Instagram account at this point.
Why do I want to send pictures to people I don't know?
Well, you're supposed to know the people.
Down. Well, yeah, you could lock it down if you don't want to share with everybody.
You don't have to invite everyone to your friends list. You can just invite people you know.
Yeah. The other thing, Sean reminded me. What were you just talking about?
Young Justice.
No, before that.
Batman.
He said something, and it reminded me.
Lobo?
Gotham.
Batman?
Nah.
Gotham
Batman and Robin?
Forget it. I don't know. I waited
Mr.
so long.
Short-term memory.
I waited so long for Steve to stop talking. I forgot what my point was going to be.
I don't interrupt anymore.
Do you guys watch The Witcher? Have you watched that?
I watched the first season. I haven't started the second.
What'd you think? Did you like it?
I did.
Yeah, I liked it too. I started season 2, but I can't watch it with Molly because her and her girlfriend like crack out on it like over a weekend.
I watched like the first 2 episodes a while ago. I don't know why. I don't have any reason. It's just one of those things I just stopped watching. I want to continue watching it. I remember enjoying it.
The first season's crazy. You got to pay attention.
Yeah.
This one doesn't seem as hard to follow. Like I had it took me a while to figure out what the hell was going on. And then finally, I don't know, season 6, I was like, oh, that's what's going on. I get it now. I was like,
season 6?
I think it was episode 6.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Did you know?
I really enjoyed the first season, actually.
Yeah, I did too.
I couldn't wait to
season 2's out. It's pretty good so far.
I'm watching Succession right now. I said I need to watch The Witcher, but I keep watching Succession. So
yeah.
The one thing I want to start doing is like watching stuff more often, trying to get back to like a weekly format. And I just watched. So HBO Max has like all the animated DC stuff, pretty much like all the one-off specials or whatever you want to call them, straight to video animation. I just watched the Deathstroke one, and that was fairly enjoyable overall. But it gives you a good background on the character, and that's what's cool about it is like if you don't know anything about Deathstroke, just watch that the Deathstroke thing that's on HBO Max. It's called like Deathstroke Knights and Dragons. That was pretty good. I finally started watching Long Halloween, but I didn't get too far into it because I'm old and I fall asleep.
When you were talking about Deathstroke the other day to me, like the next day, all these ads started popping up, like fucking action figures of Deathstroke and stuff.
No shit.
It's like, God damn, you fucking.
No, see, that's false because they inject you with the vaccine. That's how they track you. It has nothing to do with all these devices that have speakers and cameras. That's not tracking you. What are you talking about? That is nonsense.
And you agree to their terms.
Right. And with the GPS built in that tells you exactly where you are
at any given moment. Did you watch Don't Look Up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's talk about that.
I watched it before you even told me to watch it. I started
really?
it.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I had.
And then I finished it. He's like, "Did you?" I was like, "Yeah, I started it the other night and I fell asleep."
Rob, did I tell you my experience with social media in this movie? Did I tell you what happened?
You sent me a screenshot.
Oh, okay, yes, that was so I ended up evolving into a huge argument. So just to kind of sum up,
I just got a little tidbit. Tell me what's going on.
So Don't Look Up for those listening. Again, this will be spoilers, but the premise of the movie is basically it's about climate change, but it's specifically about a meteor or a comet heading towards Earth that's going to land in 6 months, and you have these scientists who are trying to explain this to people, and you get to see the government reaction and the corporate reaction, and it basically it becomes a whole parallel for COVID, even though it was conceived and written before COVID. It was filmed during COVID, though. So, but you see a lot of parallels with the people who just deny science and the people who are like, oh my God, we should be doing something about this. So you see the government finally gets on board when it becomes a PR disaster, but there's all this talk of, oh, it's an election year or something was coming up in midterms or something. And so you couldn't help but think of COVID and Trump, who literally just ignored COVID for a while. He said it'll be gone by Easter. We'll have like 2 or 3 cases. It's like, it's so many parallels. Anyway, so you have these two very distinct groups, and it's written by and directed by Adam McKay. And if you know anything about Adam McKay, he's a very liberal filmmaker. He wrote a movie about Ponzi schemes. The other guys, Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell, but he's a liberal guy. He's a smart guy. He's a liberal guy, and he's very much on the side of science. And hey, climate change is real. We should do something about it, basically. But you can't help but compare it to the COVID pandemic and everything because there's just a lot of natural parallels there.
He was saying that was so close to what was going on. He had to like cut some scenes out because it was too like exactly what was going on with Trump and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
So both Steve, when I talked to him about it, and my son Logan, I watched it with him. You guys had the same question for me, which was, what do you think would happen when a conservative person watches? Conservative, of course, meaning stupid, but like when a Republican or conservative person watches this, what's going to be their takeaway? And I'm like, I said the same thing to both you guys, which was basically they're going to see themselves as the hero. They're going to think that they're on the side of science, meaning the science being vaccines are bad, government control is bad, fascism is coming, and you got to watch out for that. So fast forward to I left a comment. I like to leave what I find to be amusing comments on Facebook posts from media I follow. This one would be Deadline Hollywood. They typically just cover movies and box office totals, but I forget even what the post was. Oh, it was about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's canceling shows in Canada because they have a vaccine mandate and he won't get vaccinated. So I just made what I thought was a funny post that was in reply to Deadline. It wasn't directed at anybody except for Deadline and maybe Joe Rogan, but just saying, wow, this guy, he's afraid of the vaccine. He's afraid of the disease. He gets COVID, takes all the drugs, all the big pharma stuff, except the vaccine. And then sarcastically, I was like, this guy is just fucking brilliant. And all the Joe Roganites come out to defend. You'll be shocked
had to know that was going to happen, though. You knew that.
Dude, I leave a lot of those comments, and usually I just get likes or dislikes, and maybe some other person will say something. This was like 2 people specifically just came after. In the very first comment, though, the very first one, and you'll be surprised to know these were all men. Shockingly, Joe Rogan doesn't really have a lot of female defenders out there. But yeah, the first comment I got was, "Hey, dude, you need to watch Don't Look Up because it's all about how you can't trust the government and and corporations. And they never have your best interest." And I was like, "Oh my god." Okay, so just to clarify, in the movie, it shows government ineptitude, which is true. Fucking the government sucks, and it shows corporate greed, which everybody knows. I am not on board with that. It demonstrates that, but I told the guy, I was like, "Here's the actual takeaway." The movie is about science deniers and what happens because the government does do, they take the scientific measure first and they call it off, which is to take a nuclear deterrent to break up and that's literally what our contingency plan is for comets. That's what we would actually do if there was comets like that coming.
We've done it.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But I was like, and so I ended up arguing with that guy for a while. I'm not going to go into all the minutia of it because it's literally like arguing with a 6-year-old with no comprehension level at all. I got accused of being pro big pharma, which is hilarious because it was just like, what? How is that what you're taking away from this conversation? When I was just making the comparison saying, why would you go get an NAD drip and prednisone and monoclonal antibodies and all these, and he had other treatments too. But you're like, I draw the line at the vaccine. They're all made by the same people, you fucking idiot. They're all big pharma. So that was my whole point, was like, how do you determine that this one thing is bad, but these other 8 treatments are fine? And somehow that got construed as me being pro big pharma. And it was just, I ended up having an argument that wasn't even on topic with anything, but I had to screen cap it and send it to you guys and send it to Logan. I was like, I told you, this is how they see themselves. They're the ones sounding the alarm about the comet in this movie. They don't understand that they're the ones who are saying, just look down or don't look up. They're the ones saying, don't look up. He's telling me I'm the one who's saying, don't look up. It's like, oh my God, I've known the government is terrible for a very long time. I've known corporate greed is a problem. You don't seem to understand what we need to be doing about that though. And it was just, it was so ridiculous though. But yeah, you can't fucking help these people, as Bill Burr would say.
Dude,
you can't fucking help these people.
If I had more time and I was on the Facebook, the Tweety, and the Instagram, I would start a rumor that the mitochondrial drip is the actual thing that has the tracking chips in it, and that's the best way to get it into your system. And just, I bet you could start it, just see how big it gets.
Oh, start a YouTube channel. That's the best way. That seems to be where they go.
The guy that started Scientology, he was just throwing some shit out there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, shit,
yep,
this is sticking, man."
Yeah,
I want to make.
And that's the same thing with the Trumpers. Yeah. They literally get on there. They say things like, "I have it from a very reliable source. I can't give up my source." But
did you read that article up in the food chain? Did you read that long ass Atlantic article?
I did not, because I'm not big on opinion pieces.
It was long. It had a lot of facts in it.
I believe that, but there's also the left also does something I don't like.
One of you were going to read it. It was longer than a.
Normally I do read the stuff you send me, but it was more just the headline. There's fear mongering on the left too, and that bothers me a lot too. With and I'm not saying what they're saying is wrong or inaccurate, but a lot of those type of articles, like Trump is already leading his second coup. It's like he's been leading a lifelong coup. You know what I mean?
That's basically what the article was.
Oh, okay. It's I didn't read it, but that's what I mean. But it's very much designed for clickbait, and I'm not for fear mongering. I'm just not.
Actually, that wasn't clickbait. I actually went to the Atlantic and viewed stuff.
Well, no, but I mean, I'm sure that's when they make those headlines. They make them, they publish them on social media sites, on Facebook, and wherever. Then you're supposed to click on them. I'm not saying you got clickbaited. I'm just saying those headlines are sensationalistic on both the left and the right to stoke fear and be like, oh my God, what's happening now? It's like, I know what's happening now.
Yeah.
I do know. It was one of those things. I didn't read it for my own mental health. Let's just put it that way.
We all know what's happening. That's why Adam McKay, he's so frustrated, and this movie was an outlet to release his frustration, and you can see that coming through in Leo's, that one scene with Leo when he's just like, it's because she's fucking lying to you. And it's like, we all see it. We all know what's going on.
We don't all see it.
That's anyone with a fucking brain.
I got told I was on the wrong side. He was like, well, they did use science because they were gonna break it up and do the jobs. I was like, no, that's the whole point. That wasn't scientific. That was a corporation who did non-peer reviewed theories, presented it for money. Like, that's the takeaway there. That was the non-scientific approach, you fucking idiot.
They said it like 3
Comprehension is
times
key.
too.
Yes.
They
said,
but he was like, has it been peer reviewed?
Right.
They made a point to express, has it been peer reviewed? And a lot of people do not understand what the difference is.
Right. And that's what I mean. Like, these people. So, and I posted links, and of course nobody posted links to me, but I posted links of the director's intent and all that stuff. And again, how they're so stupid. And because everybody's the hero of their own story, they're like, yeah, I'm Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm Jennifer Lawrence. I'm the one telling these people what's up. And they're not listening. It's like, no, everybody knows the government sucks. Everybody knows corporate greed is a problem. This movie is about ignoring science, which is what the fuck you were doing, talking about the vaccine. Because he started talking about the vaccine and fascism. And I was like, nobody forced me to get the vaccine. No one. Like,
how can they misconstrue his intention, dude? The fucking Don't Look Up crowd was all in MAGA gear. Like, how do you fucking like
stupidity? It's stupidity. Like, that's the only explanation. They're just fucking stupid. And this conversation I had with Steve the other day, and I had it with Maggie a few times, but how specifically conservative people, Republican people, whatever you want to call them, they lack self-awareness. Like, it's mind-blowing how not self-aware they are of their actions and when they're being hypocritical. I like to think I'm very self-aware. I do point out when I'm being hypocritical, because there are absolutely times I am being hypocritical and I say things. I have two views on things that are seemingly conflicting, and it's hard to reconcile. But I try to be aware of that, at least, that, I can do that. But they just don't see it. Like, they read something or they watch something, and that's how it is. They don't apply it to anything. They don't apply any critical thinking to it and take it any further. Like, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. I posted this video of Bill Burr, and this is something I was saying even before I saw Bill Burr saying it, but he says it better and more concisely. But he's talking about how, because what I used to always say about flat Earth, what is the point of them telling us the Earth is round when it's actually flat? And like, that was always my question. This is before COVID, and it makes no sense, right? There's no payoff, right? Like, it's literally a stupid theory. If the Earth is flat and we thought it was round, it doesn't impact my daily life in any way, shape, or form. And Bill Burr was talking about, but what he was talking about specifically, he was like, so you're telling me the government made the vaccine to kill off all what they call the sheeple, the people who are going to do what they're told, and you're just going to have a bunch of Fonzies running around now who won't listen? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like, why would they make this vaccine to kill off the people who are going to take it? Like, it doesn't make any sense to then just, the only people that are left are the fucking anarchists, basically. They're like, burn it all down. Like, it literally, it's not logical, and they don't apply any critical thinking. They just hear something. They have that confirmation bias, and they just run with it. And I always, like, the conversation I always imagine having with these people is always just asking them investigative questions. Like, well, why would they do that? And I've had these conversations, and literally the response is like, I don't know, but crazy things are happening. Like that. I've had conversations like that with people where they're literally just, they don't know why. And I'm asking them to apply critical thinking. Why would the government do this? And they're like, oh, look how much money the big pharma's making. It's like, yeah, they want to keep us alive, though, so we can buy Viagra when we get older. They don't want us to die young. They need to sell us more drugs, not just this one round. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. Like, they want us alive. That's why they're like, fuck, we got to keep these. I have to pay for my fourth yacht. How am I going to pay for my fourth yacht if like a third of the population dies? Fuck. You know what I mean? Like, just apply critical thinking. It's all about money. That's the biggest conspiracy theory, is everything comes down to money. I'll shut up now. I've been ranting for like 20 minutes.
No, it's good. I was just thinking of the movie, and it's that scene with Leo in particular when he just lets loose. It was so cathartic for me to watch, because it's like, oh my god, that's what I've been wanting to release. I mean, I tried to release that earlier, that same thing, but and then you just like, it's just falling on deaf ears, like it's like just what happened in the movie. Like, he did that whole thing. And then the TV crew was just like, "Oh, this guy's crazy,"
Right? Yeah,
Kate
there's a lunatic,
right? And that leads to the end of the world, and when they're just sitting at the dinner table. That's how I feel right now.
That's
I'm like,
where I'm at. I'm at the dinner table.
I am too. I'm just like these people are gonna fucking kill us, and there's nothing I can do. So I'm just like, let's eat this last meal and fucking go out with family.
Yeah, there is a certain defeatism to that, and it's sad and it sucks that that's what it came to in the movie. But I got to go down fighting still. I still got to have these stupid arguments. And I know I'm good at arguing and shutting people down, but what I need to work on is arguing to get people to truly, and I'm better at it with my friends. When I'm actually arguing with somebody I know and like I said, I'll ask like investigative questions, trying to get them to answer stuff without referring to some fucking whacked out YouTuber. Just like, well, why do you think they're doing this? Why do you think they're doing that? What's the end goal? Like, what are they pursuing here? And get them to think about like, why would they do this? Why would they do that? When literally the answer, the reason why almost anything is happening is money. They just shortened the quarantine for people that were infected from like 10 days to 5 days. Yep. Why do you think they did that? Do you think it's scientific, or do you think it's a money-based thing at this point? They just want people to get back to work.
The Biden administration all but said it's to keep the economy going.
Exactly.
Which is totally, that's what I was telling you when they did that. I was like, well, boy, these same people should be upset, when everybody was saying take off work and all that, with Trump, and then now it's okay to do it with Biden. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, granted, it's not as deadly, and we do have a vaccination, but it's the same thing's true, though. You still want to prevent people from getting it, Right.
And so it's kind of changing policies now, though, to keep the economy going. And that's what gets me too, is people like, oh, you're just pro Biden. It's like, no, Biden's fucking up too. Biden doesn't give a fuck either. He's all about money. That's the whole reason I didn't like the guy to begin with. He's a fucking money guy. That's, he's a millionaire. He's lobbyists, all that stuff. It's all tied in. He's a lesser evil than Trump by a huge amount. However, he's still a money guy. He's not a Bernie Sanders. Like, I feel like Bernie Sanders was angry when he found out he was a millionaire. Like when he became a millionaire off of book sales, he was probably like, fuck. Like he was truly like, God damn it, this is not what I was trying to do.
So are we heading towards the end of the world there? Like, how we I mean, because the evidence is there. That's one of the reasons that he made this movie, because he's a big climate change. Yeah, he's a big proponent for that, and he does a lot of work with scientists and stuff.
I don't know why you guys are saying climate change is real. It's only like 60 degrees in late December up here, and it's snowing in California. I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's clearly made up. So this is totally normal.
I'm working outside. Totally, it's 75 degrees in December. It's like warmer than the springtime.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse, dude.
It's going to get cold this weekend, but
and it's just
that's the biggest difference, is the dramatic shifts.
Yeah.
That's what scientists have been trying to tell people. It's like, it might not be warmer, it might not be colder, but you're seeing a hell of a lot of like just downpours, all at once. You're seeing a lot more, extreme cold weather that comes in for like a week. You're seeing some crazy patterns, man.
Yeah,
it's like
when you read about just what like 1 to 2 degrees change can do to the ecosystem, it's like, holy fucking shit, dude. And we're on a pace that's going to be 4 or 5 degrees. It's fucking so I'm just at the dinner table. I'm like, well, these fucking idiots have just killed us. I was like, bring on the Bronterock.
I apologized to Logan the other day. I was like, I'm so sorry we brought you into this world. I've always known things were getting worse. I just didn't know it was going to happen so quickly. It just Idiocracy was one of those things that came out. It's like, oh yeah, thank God that's fiction. That'll be long after I'm dead. Like, no, it'll be about 10 years later.
Yeah,
about 10 years we'll be at Idiocracy levels. Mike Judge, much smarter guy than I am, obviously.
I just
at least your kids are adults.
But then I feel like that's what, like our parents were saying, like, 20, 30 years ago.
Wasn't their whole thing was different, though, because they had like the whole biblical apocalypse in mind.
Yeah.
They were watching the decline of Western civilization through the goggles of, oh my God, Ozzy Osbourne is the devil. AC/DC singing about Highway to Hell.
Yeah.
The earth is gonna fucking end. This is the worst shit I've ever seen.
We actually have empirical data now.
It's not just a song on the radio that's gonna end civilization. We have, like you said, we have got the data. We have actual science backing it up. It's not because somebody bought me a Skeletor figure. So.
Well, okay, how about this? I wonder if that's what they said when World War I happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how people looked at war back then.
Yeah.
So if they were like, oh, it's the end of days. But at the same time, if you go by the Bible, you got to have the plagues. You got to have you got to have the locusts and the rivers running red with blood. You got a lot of other stuff that's supposed to happen, according to those white guys that hung out with Jesus.
Well, you got the Antichrist
in the Middle East,
right? Didn't we have that? Didn't Trump
have
Antichrist?
Well, that was Trump though. But that's the thing is like, it's just funny to me. The Bible warns that the Antichrist will come to you as like a sheep in wolf's clothing, or wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's like people are like, yeah, that's Joe Biden. It's like, no, if somebody was the Antichrist, it was definitely Donald Trump. It was the guy espousing Jesus's name while cheating on his wife, while threatening to kill black people. Well, he's like, can we get the army in there? We got to kill these people. Like, or, like
they really think that branded thing is funny too. I was like, wow.
Oh my God.
Like, are you still using the branded thing? Like, God damn. You need a good liberal to be funny though.
So
for
like
a good sense of humor.
That guy that was talking to you about, like, does he know that Trump owns, like, Trump is a corporation?
I'm guessing not. I don't. He wasn't a Trump. Like I know we always, and I tend to do this too, lump people in as Trumpers.
Yeah.
Because of certain beliefs. That doesn't. Nobody said Trump's name in this argument, but I do the same thing though. But yeah, I get what you're saying though. Those people though, they tend to that are anti-vaccine. They're typically pro-Trump. And they act like Donald Trump is some little guy. It's like he's a multi-billionaire with like ties to other countries and corporations. Like you were saying, like
he was still had his corporation. He didn't diversify. He was still basically
Yeah, he never divested himself, even though he was supposed. Nobody held him accountable for that. But again, even in the 80s, he was. You could just tell that he was literally a villain from a movie. He was the corporate villain from all those 80s movies where they're like from the Goonies or whatever, where they're going to tear down all the houses and put in a fucking shopping mall or whatever. That's him. That's the guy doing that. And people are like, no, he likes the little people. He hates you. He hates you so much. He loves your adoration. He hates you though. I guarantee it. He fucking hates you people. He's a germaphobe. Like, oh my God.
We will just keep supporting him though.
Man, I don't know, man. They might be turning. He was supporting the vaccine.
No, that's sure. I'm sure they can't
taking all the credit for it.
They can't let the Dems win. They'll do anything. They'll just put their everything they say they stand for. They'll just set that aside.
They'll feed you and keep you alive. It's horrible.
Dude, Adam McKay was talking about one of the lines from the movie that he loved, and it didn't really get a laugh, he said, or a good reaction. And it was such a great line too. It was the one where when they're shooting all the rockets the first time, and then the shuttle starts to turn, and he's like, one of the guys, the onlookers, is like, I think it's turning around, and the other guy's like, no, it's just making a course correction. Trust me, I was in the Navy.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
And that's where we are right now with people.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I know all about aeronautics because I was in the Navy.
Right. They're an expert because they were, a janitor at NASA or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
that is such a great line too. He said he wished he would have got a better reaction from it because he said that was one of his favorites.
There was a lot of little things in there you had to really pay attention to. It was funny.
Dude, the Bronterock had me fucking rolling at the
That was
end.
solid.
That was great.
Well, I loved how Jonah Hill, the president's son, was like an amalgam. He was an amalgam of all the Trump kids, and he's always just basically talking about banging his mom, which is obviously, Trump was always talking about banging Ivanka. So
and doing coke.
Yeah. And then he's the last man on earth. That was great. It's like that would be the last guy on earth.
What about Jason? Who?
She's like, oh shit.
Oh, dude, I love that guy too. The billionaire capitalist guy that from Ready Player One. I'm like I said,
that was him. That was him. Okay,
it's just funny to me that like that guy. That's who he plays. Is like eccentric billionaires, and like just his whole. You could just tell he was crazy, and like. And that to me was funny just because it's like you could tell this guy is crazy, but like half the population can't tell he's crazy with his giant fake teeth and everything. Like,
I like when the rockets, like everything, the mission fails and he just like starts walking out.
Yeah, I'm gonna. He's got that weird smile plastered on his face. He's like, I'm gonna go now.
You think that was? You think he was kind of based on Elon Musk?
I think he's again just an amalgam
one of those. Yeah,
Richard Branson, Elon Musk, Jeff
Elon's
Bezos.
a little eccentric like that.
They all.
That's what he said Facebook about his satellites. Oh no, there's plenty of room in space. China was complaining.
The smarter they are, the more socially awkward they are
for everything.
Zuckerberg, he's just all those guys basically rolled up into one. He's like, oh yeah, we'll just do this and we'll make money off of it. And I'm like, that is such a corporate thing. And then people misunderstood it and they're like, it's always bad when corporations and government come together. And I'm like, there is some truth to that. But again, it's not, you can't blanket statement that shit. You just can't, because again, we got the vaccine because of people working together. And so I don't know. It's weird though to just make that your just flat conclusion. What the government was 100% bad, and corporations were 100% bad. Corporations are only like 80% bad. That's what I would say.
That movie, I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I was like, oh, I got that sinking feeling afterwards. It's just like, God damn it, we can't change shit.
It was very effective. Dude, did you guys see the Lightyear trailer? They're making a Buzz Lightyear movie.
Oh, I saw that a while ago.
I'm ridiculously stoked for this. Chris Evans is Buzz Lightyear. No, it's Pixar, but it's like it's not as cartoony looking as Toy Story though. It's still cartoony, but it's like the story of Buzz Lightyear that the toy is based on is kind of what they're going for. And Chris Evans is Buzz Lightyear. I love Chris Evans. He's like a perfect voice for that kind of character. But I am so ridiculously stoked for this. And I was thinking back, dude, one of my core memories is going to see Toy Story with Steve and your guys' parents at the Plaza 8 at Chapel Hill in 1995, Christmas time. As like a 19-year-old, I was giddy to see that fucking movie. 19, no shame. Yeah. And I was just like, this movie looks fat, and I loved it. And I like all the Toy Story movies.
What happened to your enjoyment of movies? What happened to that?
I still love movies. Spider-Man,
almost all of them.
Dude. It's not my fault. Movies are bad. Like that's like I still love movies. I've seen Spider-Man twice. How many times have you seen it? So,
once
I do. It's not my fault that when things are bad. Like we've had great years for movies. We
even watched The Matrix twice, I think, didn't you?
1.5 times. I didn't finish it. I do plan to finish it. And if you turn subtitles on, you can actually understand the blue-haired girl. It's weird. It's like, oh, she is speaking English. Holy shit. It's not my fault.
He's just gotten a little cynical in his old age.
Right? I really, dude. Also, dude, you show me something good, I will sing the praises of it. That's all it takes. Tomorrow War was fine entertainment. It was like watching.
What's the one with The Rock? Red Notice.
I didn't watch that. But
did you watch that?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
It was like, to me, Tomorrow War is like Godzilla versus Kong. It's just fluffy popcorn, entertaining. It was fine. It was fine entertainment. It's not trying to be
it was like Boba
high-minded.
Fett. It was fine.
It was fine. It's not trying to be high-minded or anything like that. It told its story. It did a good job. I enjoyed it for what it was. And you do have to grade things that way. You can't grade everything and be like, oh, is this as good as Inglourious Bastards? Does it have that level of attention to detail and the setting and all? No, not everything has to be like that for me to enjoy it. It just has to be enjoyable. It just has to be entertaining. And so many things this year just were not. But I love, again, Godzilla versus Kong. I like the Mortal Kombat movie, which a lot of people shit on because, again, it's not amazing cinema. It's not Citizen fucking Kane, but for what it is as a video game property movie, it was very enjoyable. I have issues with it, but it was still a fun watch for me.
You said you liked the Suicide Squad.
Love Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Looking forward to Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do Peacemaker episode next year.
So we're gonna go weekly now. Then we'll do
I would like to go weekly.
A movie and then the next week a comic. And then
Rob, put the razor down. He's cutting his wrist, guys.
All right. So what are we gonna watch then? I guess we should.
When we come back, we got to do Daredevil.
Right. So what do we? But we can. You can say what we're gonna watch.
I haven't thought about it. I haven't put no thought into this.
No.
So I wasn't prepared for this. You caught me off guard. It could be. I don't know when Peacemaker premieres, so I can't say Peacemaker because I don't think it premieres the first week of January, but maybe it does. So we'll start that process after the next one.
Okay.
After
I thought you might have had something lined up since you were thinking about it.
I did not do that.
I should have known.
But yeah, we still gotta cover Daredevil next week. Steve and I have read it 4 times. How many times have you read it, Rob?
Yep.
All right. So that's a 0.
Yep.
Did you want to do a watch segment too, just to keep Rob interested?
Yes, that's what I thought. I thought it would help Rob enjoy the show more if we played.
I don't think it's going to work.
What's that?
I don't think it's going to work.
No? Damn. I want you to enjoy doing the podcast as much as Steve and I do. So I thought if we introduced a medium that you were more into, that you would like it, but apparently
I think it's more fun when Rob's depressed and angry on the show.
I don't like Rob to be depressed and angry.
I'm looking forward to it being over.
That's what I don't want.
Just like our listeners.
I just want you to enjoy the show that we put together. If you can call it putting it together. Lord. But yeah, I want you to enjoy doing the show as much as Steve and I enjoy doing the show.
Sometimes.
And I feel like I've just added a chore to your laundry list of chores. That's what I feel like.
You have no idea what I do all day.
we should do twice a week.
We're going daily. We're doing dailies.
There better be a reimbursement.
We're like, and now we're coming to you live from Rob's work site.
How is it not fun to just come and sit and talk uninterrupted with your friends? And is it not fun?
It's fun.
It's fun.
I have a good time.
Put the razor down. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. So yeah, this was our Happy New Year's episode, surprise episode.
Happy New Year, everyone! Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
All right,
2022. Jesus.
We'll be back with Kevin Smith's Daredevil.
Yes.
In about a week. You have a week to read 8 issues of Daredevil.
He'll start the last one.
Are they really long?
He'll start the night before.
It's Kevin Smith. It's pretty wordy.
It is wordy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's wordy.
He
uses words like cacophony.
Cacophony.
You'll start the night before. That's when you'll start.
Use it in a sentence.
like Lobo.
But all right. Yeah, thanks for listening. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.